And moving back to Man United, obviously Ashworth's appointment is one of several high-level appointments they've made. Is that a sign of previous lack of direction, or could there potentially be too many strong voices all chipping in at once at Man United looking forward?
Mm. Well, they've got a lot of voices. You've got a new chief executive uh, who starts any day now. You've got Ratcliffe himself, and then a whole load of Ineos people on the board and his partners. Then you've got the Glazers on top of it. And then you've got an entirely new executive team because they've basically removed the whole executive team and replaced them. So, and then obviously Ashworth and Jason Wilcox as well. So there are a lot of voices there. They'll have to figure that out, but they know what they're doing. I mean, these are the most experienced people in UK business and UK football, really. I mean, if you were to look at, Omar Barada's been at City for that's part of a decade. He had some experience at Barcelona before that. Dan Ashworth has been all over the place. So there's a huge amount of experience there. They'll be familiar with it, but I think there'll be also, quite a lot of ego around the table. So it's not. It's definitely an issue, but it's one that their experience should be able to deal with.
Mm. And then it's been reported that Ratcliffe has said up to 250 staff members could be made redundant. Are we expecting big cost savings from such a measure?
Well, not really. I mean, so I think a lot of it is a kind of private equity optical approach to making a change in a business. I mean, if you were to work on the basis of, let's say, £40,000 of all-in cost on average for those people that are leaving, and that's a complete guess, but just taking all of social security and desk cost and all of that stuff in, let's say it's £40,000, 250 people is only £10 million a year. I mean, that's not even paying for Sancho's wages. So optically, yes, it will make a difference, and I think Ineos probably think United have become a bit bloated organisationally, and so I think it's a bit less about the actual pounds and pence that they're saving, and more about actually getting the organisation a bit trimmer and a bit leaner to go forward and bring in some new people. Really, clear the decks of maybe people that have been there quite a long time and bring in some new talent. It just can't be about pure pounds and pence when footballers are paid the salary of 250 people.
Definitely. And then Man United, they launched their new shirts the other day. It's a £60 million a year deal with Qualcomm Technologies. Is that likely to significantly boost the club's commercial revenue for the upcoming year?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an uplift on TeamViewer. So it does look like a good deal, but it's not. They have had historically higher deals than that. Chevrolet was higher than 60, and that's going back maybe sort of 8 years, maybe. I can't remember exactly, but it's quite. There's not been a huge amount of growth in front of shirt, and you see that with Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea can't get rid of it at all at the moment. So 60 is good. I mean, 60 is pretty much top of the market. I'm not sure where Real Madrid are. It's probably around the same sort of level. So United will be pleased with that, and I believe that there is no adjustment for Champions League failure. So if they were to fail to qualify for the Champions League again next season, they would still get their 60. So they'll probably be pretty pleased with that, because clearly it's become harder over the years to guarantee your qualification for the Champions League, particularly for United. So that's quite an important element to it. It's slightly different from the Adidas deal that they have on the kits, where they will get a reduction if they don't qualify for the Champions League. I can't remember whether it's 1 or 2 years that it flexes on, but so 60 is a good deal, and it'd be interesting to see how it works. That there are some interesting articles about Qualcomm's view on what United can do for them, particularly in the Far East.
And then there's been the news that Erik ten Hag has signed a new contract. Are there likely to be clauses in place to protect the club in case he is sacked before 2026?
Yeah, I think that's really optics more than anything. I suspect that the compensation, if he was to be removed at some point, is not going to make any difference. I think he'd probably be fixed on a certain amount, either what's known as a liquidated damages clause, which actually specifies the terms, or maybe he's capped on a 1-year notice period or something like that, that effectively makes it irrelevant whether he's got a 2-year contract or a 6-year contract. Because the amount of money that is going to be paid out is not going to really flex depending on it. But most clubs will not want a situation where the manager's going into the final year of his contract. City being the obvious exception to that rule, but usually it just doesn't work in the dressing room. So clubs will optically put in place an extension. City did it with Pellegrini many years ago, even though I suspect at that point they knew that Pep Guardiola was coming in afterwards. And it was just really to calm the situation down and take away all of the speculation. So I wouldn't look at it too much in terms of the numbers. I'd look at it more in terms of the optics.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.